Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Sorry, can you please do the roll call?
Albrecht.
Here.
Bablow.
Here.
Day.
Here.
Gurecki.
Here.
Bono.
Here.
Mendel.
Here.
You have a four.
The mission of the Herkimer County Industrial Development Agency is to deliver economic incentives to businesses and industries that diversify and strengthen Herkimer County's tax base and enhance community vitality by supporting job creation, housing, business, and industrial development and revitalization. We strive to develop the local economy in an organized, sustainable, and environmentally beneficial manner.
Okay, very good, thank you. Item number 4, our minutes on pages 1 through 4, and that's for the February 25th meeting. Are there any additions, corrections, deletions, or any comments on those? Okay. All right, I need a motion to accept, please. Alana, second. Lori, second. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. All right. Any nays? Carried. Item number 5 is our financial reports, 5 through 11. Any comments or questions before I ask John? Okay, John?
Just you'll notice that after this month, you won't see any loans. Beer Belly Bob has paid off his loan, and what's the name of the other company?
Bartlett.
Bartlett, they paid off theirs as well. It really doesn't make sense for us to get in those programs again. The one was for Beer Belly was the USDA loan, and that one we're really held liable for if they don't pay. So we've decided we probably wouldn't invest operating way to move ahead with that. Everything else, we're on track. See a couple other projects happening soon that we can talk about later, but everything else is good.
What category do those fall into?
They would be under our loan. Where are they on what page, Victoria?
Is it on 5?
It might be in the back. It's on page 9 or 10.
Page 10.
Oh,
So
okay.
loan lease balances and payment status. So that's it. Are we sending them anything? Basket of fruit, something? Say thank you for all those years. Beer Belly Bob, a
Flag
bottle.
pin.
Should we send him a bottle?
I sent him a flag pin and some lifesavers.
Did you really? Oh, thank you very much for that. He's still in business up on the hill though, doing flowers.
Any other comments to be made on the financials? I'll need a motion to accept the financials as presented. Tim, second. Will help. Alana, thank you. Discussion. All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Carried. Item number 6, the tariffs report. I believe we were sent you. We're going to take this 12 to 91.
They'd all be very excited about everything. Just that Victoria and mostly Victoria has done a phenomenal job in getting this all together. The starting of the report starts, I don't know, tomorrow, the next year.
Yes.
And if there's individual questions on anything you have, I know we sent it out to all of you for both the LDC and the IDA. Nothing has really changed in the IDA one. LDC was new. You can still ask questions even after today if you have anything you want to talk about involving reports. One thing we do need to look at is some of the job reporting that's gone on. But I think we'll talk about that's going to be our item 8. So we'll talk about that in item 8. We got to approve the Paris reports. Everything is all the data entered in on each project. Some of our people that we have set up, our clients that we've set up with projects are most difficult to get the data from. If they were bought by somebody, if somebody changed positions, they don't necessarily let us know. A lot of times we have to continually call or go to their boss or go to somebody else. I think we've copied Mr. Bono on a few of them from time to time. And it's very difficult to do these projects in report what we need to, so we don't get black eye. Some of these, clients do not return the data we request. And it's not like we ask for it today and we expect it tomorrow. We start asking in January. We still don't have a couple, so they will go in as non-compliant, and the state will deal with that. It's terrible. I mean, it's not a lot of work from them either. Victoria outlines it very clearly what they need to do, and very simply. It's just all the input of the data that constantly has to be put here. I'll tell you one thing though, Paris, the ABO has gotten great with answering our questions. They really have. I mean, probably 3-4 years ago, they didn't have the correct staff, and now they do. And with Victoria, she'll come in, let's talk about a question, and I go, hey, send them an email. And within a few hours, we usually get an answer. But Tony Halleck's been great too, and so is Shannon from Hodgkin Russ on answering our questions too. So it's a lot of work.
If we don't get the information, it goes to the state. Right?
Yeah, there's 0,
And it could be ineligible for future programs.
100% grants, everything else. And we give them, and we just don't tell the individual, we let everybody know. We don't have these reports. Some people are defiant. We don't want to share it with us.
Okay.
My question was, around the job report aspect of it. So do you want me to wait or do you? want
Yeah, we're gonna,
to-
if that's okay, and
Because we're approving it though now,
well, we have to
right,
approve
or-
the numbers are what they are.
or what they are. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
We can't really finagle those.
That's
We
okay, I
want
was just
to,
wondering where
but we
When
can't.
to,
Yeah. And we would really like some guidance on where y'all think we should go with some of these things. Some of them, are the older timing out of the project, which you can understand, or they've been bought and acquisitions and things change and we add notes in there. But other ones just don't make sense.
Need a motion to approve both those, for the annual report, financial audit, for investment report. Sorry, second, Tim, discussion. All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Good. Item 7, sales tax exemption, page 92, Jan.
Victoria, help me out.
So these are the sales tax exemptions for all of the projects that are in the construction process or currently working toward completing the construction of the project. So as you can see, there's the total exemption for each project that was authorized on their sales tax exemption form. And the middle column outlined in bold there is what was reported for the year 2024. If the ST60 is active for more than 1 year or part of 1 year and part of another, we do have to keep track of that active period. Then you'll see if they have a remaining balance available to utilize and the status of the project, whether it's completed or not. You can see one highlighted there for one project that was slightly over their allocated amount for their sales tax.
Once again, when they do sales tax exemption on the application, it says estimated. And that was one of the questions and heavy discussions we had with the auditor. Is that if you changed it, but estimated is gonna win every day. Because you can't tell for sure, especially the way things change in cost, supply chain, everything else. Some things you have to pay for more to get the project done. So we're very confident in what the numbers we have here.
Is Calucci just going to let theirs go, or are they gonna ask for an increase?
They completed
only
the
8,000,
construction, so they
right.
would not be utilizing any additional benefits other than
I'm sorry, so the balance available means that they were
they would,
under.
they overutilized.
They
So that negative
overutilized.
number is them overutilized, so they used more than the amount.
And we're not
Understood.
gonna
So
recommend we claw
I
back
guess
anything.
my question is, they're not going to ask for an increase in the amount and utilization.
Correct.
It's only 8,000, right?
Right.
So they haven't asked, okay.
But they did take that benefit, and we're not gonna go after them to reduce that benefit because they brought in jobs and they
Yeah.
did their, and they estimated. If the state, and we sat here with them and we go to these trainings and we tell the, if you put down, but they won't put it either, because it's not just the ABO, then it's, treasury or tax and finance, and tax and finance says we can't demand you to give an exact number. So it's always this back and forth, but when we get audited, they say, well, you didn't use the exact number. No, because it says estimate. It's like, who's on first? Constant.
Any more questions?
There's no
Comments?
discussion.
All right, let's go to, make that summary, page 93.
So this is where we're running into some situations, but I'd like to hear Ian's question first.
My only question was, I understand that a number of these on here didn't meet their estimated numbers, and how does that impact any sort of liability, for lack of a better term, of the board? Like, in other words, if we don't act on the fact that they didn't meet those numbers, is there some sort of precedent that they're setting?
No, we're not, because this is what happens across the state. We are required to let the state know what numbers they have. Some of these are so old, there was no cost benefit analysis associated with it back at the time, but some of them just didn't report to us. Or actually, is there only one left that didn't report to us?
The one that was terminated in February,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
we had to put 0 for them because we didn't receive any information on
Where are
it.
we with the fuel guy? If you report,
I'd have them.
okay, good.
So we're just a conduit to the state for the information, and there's no action that they would be looking.
If there was other issues, we could add this as part of the whole package to
Yeah.
remove them, just like we did with JPI.
Yep.
With capital investment.
Yep, okay, let's go to capital investment, page 94.
Yeah, it just outlines each project, what they estimated, what they reported in 2024, and then the total amount at the end. So the one that really stands out, I think, is ELG, but it shouldn't stand out that much. They're really not done with their project up there yet. And we believe that there'll be other expansion of the project.
Other comments?
Any idea when the tree solar, times the
Probably here anytime now. They have all their approvals. They got their updates from NYSERDA. They've committed all their funds to us. So non-refundable funds. So
Anything else? Okay. We're gonna jump to 23 because this is kind of. All right, let's move to Skyler Business Park entrance, so we had segments, I think, 1:30. This may be with us, and Dan, you want to?
Sure. So the other day we had a bid due. And I don't know, Chris, maybe you can tell us how many people contacted you for the bid process?
Sure, let me open that back up. I just collapsed that window. Give me 1 second.
So Delta's been our supporting engineering firm to help us with this growth of the Skyler Business Park. They've been with us since the beginning for the entrance and the water tower, which is part of the Fast New York grant that we received. So we've been working with DOT that Mr. Bono can attest to for now 2.5 years roughly. And we finally got sign off on the way that we want the entrance to look. There's still some poles up. National Grid moved their power to a new pole. There's 2 other suppliers on there. The last supplier up who takes their stuff down has to remove the poles. With that being said, can you talk about the bids, Chris, a little bit?
Sure. So there were 10 contractors that requested bids. 5 we would consider general contractors. The other 5 would be supporters. Stilsing Electric, Wavetronics, companies like that would provide part of the work, but not all of it. Of the 5 that we would consider prime contractors, Carver Construction is the only one that reached or that provided a bid. We did reach out to the other 4 as well as one of the subs to see, was there something that they didn't like that scared them off about the project? Was it timing, etc.? And 4 of them did get back to us. 2 of them got back to us when we had actually put the letter together that was provided to the IDA, but 4 of them did get back to us, and all of them we're concerned about the MWBE requirements that are associated with the job. In other words, 30% of the work needed to be done or should be given away from the general contractor if they're not a minority or a woman-owned business enterprise and completed by an MWBE. It is now a requirement by the state. I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but it's a requirement by the state now that if you don't have or don't complete your 30%, you've got to fill out paperwork and there's due diligence. You've got to reach out and prove that you reached out to companies to do it. In talking to them, they said for a project this size, it's a big project to us. But for these companies, for a project this size, to give away 30% of a $1.5 million, $1.6 million project when they're can do it in-house, typically cheaper than what they're giving it away for, it doesn't make sense for them to pursue them, which got us back to only Carver submitting a bid. The good thing is the bid came in where we expected it to. Typically on a DOT project, if this were a DOT project, they would want us to do an investigation, which we did anyway. Why was there only one bid? Because they would want to push back and say bid it again unless there's reasonable expectation that you're not going to get a different result. And the different result would be, are you going to get a lower price if more people bid it, or are you going to get more bidders? In this case, the bid came in where we expected it to. And in talking to the other potential bidders, even if we put this back out again, we're probably not going to get any more bids on it.
In
And
fact, this guy might raise his price because now he knows he's the only bidder.
and to that point, John, we actually had that experience in Canastota where we put a streetscape project out. There were no bids or one bid. We put it back out and the price went up $600,000 to the same company.
The good thing about these guys, they have other projects in the area, so they felt comfortable, so they'll shift workforce around. So that was a benefit. But we have a local, very big local supplier here who could have done the job. He doesn't like, DOT's been giving them a pain lately, and they didn't want to give up that WMDE requirement. So that's what we're running into.
I'll make mention that paperwork to deviate from the WBE is not impossible. It can be done. So I understand, you have two of the contractors that do want to give up the 36%. I understand it's a large amount to give up. Albeit it's a state, state money, so they can dictate what they want to dictate. But the paperwork can be done. Contractors and agencies have deviated from it before.
The problem is we have WMDE suppliers that can fit those roles. So they can't deviate if there is somebody that can do it. And that's what we found with some of these projects. It's different than when, like we did in Enchanted Forest, we were able to deviate up there because you weren't gonna go with a non-experienced ride builder. You had to do certain things. Here. They can check the box because there are WMDE people that'll fill it. They can't say that they're gonna deviate from it if they don't want to.
However, the point was just made that, in a different project, the contractor increased the amount by 600,000, potentially making it cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
For any agency to complete a project. So in the instance where we have a project like this and we have one contractor left, you're right, they could come back and significantly raise the cost of it. So in
He
that
pretty much
aspect.
told us that in the office, right? He's the only one that showed up, so.
So in that is a basis then to be able to deviate from it. I'm just saying, it's not impossible. There's many contractors that do it. It's not easy, but it can be done.
Except for the fact that we do have the WMBDs here. If we didn't have, minority businesses in the area that could support that, it's easy to get a deviation. But they're not gonna just let us deviate because of cost. the state. Right, Chris?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, and let me just add a little bit to that conversation. There's between when we put this out to bid and today, the state has now put another layer of complexity with WBE deviations in that every bid that goes in, the way it is right now, when we put this out to bid, the low bidder, if he's going to deviate from, say, he can only get 24% of the 30% goal, he has to provide, only the low bidder needs to provide that paperwork. And it could change during construction where they get it and they have to request a waiver. What's in place now, if we were to put this out to bid again, is every submission response to the RFP has to include the WBE paperwork and how they're going to address it, or if they're not going to address it, that they've done all their outreach to request a reduction in the percentages. So let's say, let's use Central Paving, for example. They were one of the ones that was that picked up plans and got back to us. For them to put in a bid moving forward on a state project or a state funded project, they've got to do all the paperwork for WBE if they know they're not going to hit the goal as part of their bid. So they've got to do a whole lot more legwork up front for something they're not even sure they're going to win. And it's going to, in our opinion, in talking to the contractors, it's going to drive fewer bidders, or it's going to drive bidders away. You're going to end up with fewer bids because it's an awful lot of paperwork. You've got to put ads in the paper. You've got to have letters that go out to them, and you've got to have copies of the letters so that it can't just be, you know, that the contractor puts something together that says, yeah, I reached out to companies A, B, and C, but they didn't get back to me. You actually have to have proof that you reached out to companies A, B, and C as part of your submission for the bid.
Well, we can't get any less than one and have the project done, so I think we really, I don't know any other thing to do than to move ahead with this. And they're a reliable builder, they're well-known.
What is the concern with Harvard, just that they can't come back?
No, well, if we went out to bid again,
Yeah.
oh, they're definitely coming back
So
higher.
they're the only-
Yeah, oh, there's no other concern with them, they're a good,
They need to
well,
fire.
they
What happens
100%.
in a part of the state that's, boom, there's not enough suppliers to meet the requirement, and it just stifles in certain areas and projects. It's all those meant well.
We need to have a meeting with our electeds
No.
statewide and explain that.
Just too,
Not
it's
us.
just too freaking complex in the state. That's all I'm gonna say, without getting political, and I already did. But it's just, this was stifling good growth. Anyways,
It's a really
okay,
good sized project. I think if the project was much larger, you might see those contractors back.
Yeah, okay. all right, so that's the scoop. We need to, right. We need to
Oh, I thought you were
move
saying
on.
this is okay.
No. Okay, let's, I need a motion to, accept that bid. Alana, thank you. Tim, second, discussion. All in favor, aye. Any opposed, no. Okay. Chris, thank you.
Thanks,
Have a good
Chris.
week.
We'll talk to you soon about the water stuff, okay?
Sounds good. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you.
Right, let's go back to item 10, our micro enterprise grant update.
Jen.
Jen, I'm sorry.
Me?
Yeah, Jen.
Good
Let's
morning.
start with the SurePrint.
Before we talk about the applications, I have a quick little update. Since our last discussion around the micro enterprise grant, that was in January, we have delivered 2 disbursements to Juliana Farms and to the Velvet Dog. We also have had quite an uptick in interest over the last few weeks. I've gotten lots of email calls, people even stopping into the office. So there's definitely buzz around the grant application right now. So I've been a little bit busy. I have 5 applications in the works in various stages of completeness. None of them are ready for review today, except for the 2 that we have on the agenda. One for SurePrint and one for Abbott. We have 178,000 currently available in grant funds remaining. Unless these are approved today, then that would change.
The update. 2 of those applications were presented to the board for review, the loan board, and they've all been accepted. Any questions on either one of those? John, you want to give us a
Sure, like,
background of both of those?
Sure, SurePrint is a local company. They started down in whatchamacallit, Dowsville, at a site that was part of our BOA opportunity right down there. And now they've expanded, or they're looking to expand into the Ilion Mall and open up another location. So they do printing. They also do a lot of packaging for UPS and things like that. So it's a retail location, fits into what we want to do. And the total amount they're asking for is $14,000. And the owner of the company is actually on our Zoom meeting right here too. If we have any direct questions for him.
Questions, comments, concerns? Okay. There's a motion to accept that application. Lori, thank you. Tim, second. Discussion. All in favor, aye? Any opposed, nay? Carried. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you very much, folks. I really appreciate it. Look forward to working with you guys.
Yes. Well, let's go to the second application.
Yeah, I didn't do as deep a dive into this one as Jen did, so maybe Jen, you want to talk about it just for a couple minutes?
Sure. Abbott LLC, they are a in-home, I guess they're an internet business, so not a typical brick and mortar business. They are creating a platform that this is way over my knowledge in technology also, but they're creating a platform for foodies to basically monetize content where a lot of platforms right now, when you're viewing recipes, like you're not paying to view them and a bunch of other things that you're not able to do, they're going to be putting into this platform. They are in the development stages right now, creating that platform. He is from Ilion, New York, and he is asking for $14,000 to help with those development costs currently. Only it's a membership platform. So like if you paid $5 a month, you would be able to view like certain number of recipes and a bunch of other things.
I appreciated Jen's overview of that, because as I read through this, that's why my emails were saying, I just don't understand. So I appreciated you coming back with that detail, because it was very confusing for me here.
Happy to do so. I spent a lot of time on the phone with Nathaniel, who's the owner.
And what everything else has to understand. So when Jen gets all this, she contacts Housing and Community Renewal, which she talks to
Every other week.
so just an update. So they review it all too before we bring it out.
Is some of that cost of being a developer, or is he doing that work?
No, he has to pay a company to do that work. It's an outside company.
So I was confused about that.
Okay.
Not yet. I did see, he did show me a little bit of it. It is pretty cool. But right now it's not anywhere in a place where I said, yeah, still a lot of development to happen. There is potential for jobs to be created in the long term too. He was originally going to apply as creating jobs, but he didn't think he'd be able to fit that in the timeline of what our grant period intends to. But there will be jobs created too once the platform is running.
So they have to be a data.
I'll ask him.
Okay, we have that application for review, discuss, any comments further? Any, need a motion to accept that application? Alana, thank you. Alana, Lori, thank you. All in favor, I'm sorry, discussion? All in favor, aye? Any opposed, nay? Okay, all right, let's go to our marketing update here, and what's going on?
So we're adding a memorial to the Frankfurt 5S North Business Park, and there's 3 separate designs, so we were going to get everyone.
So we're hoping to, in the next couple of months, have a dedication to the park. The village of Frankfurt unanimously voted to support this. We got the Senate logo approved that we could use that. We want to call it the Senator James L. Stewart Smart Business Park. And those were the 3 different designs that we narrowed it down to. I'm going to be upfront and honest, I probably like the one all the way on the right on the bottom. I thought it gave it a different look. No, I found, yeah, roughly all around the same. And we'll have a big event. We've talked to other senators that want to attend, Justin Smithson, who's the singer, he wants to do the next anthem. We'll have people there.
They all look nice. There's technically 2 names. Ivy Pond, the Senator James Stewart Memorial Business Park, and then below it, the Frankfurt Business Park.
So I'll do the Frankfurt 5S North Business Park. But we don't really need to remove anything. It's just a memorial to Senator Seward. I mean, nobody's gonna say, I can't find the Senator Seward Memorial Park. Because it's Frankfurt 5S North. I think they're getting kind of sleepy there. Just things that look nice to stop that. That's all. Yeah, it's really just. Just right, yeah.
One's a site location, the other one's a name.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, looks nice. Let's take a vote. What do you like?
One would be in the top left, and then 2 in the center, and 3 at the bottom. All for one.
One for all.
About 2. They'll 2 out. Anybody want 2?
2.
About 3.
And these are all the same price.
Yeah, well, roughly. Nothing crazy. The price should not matter on how the beauty of the site should look.
It looks like a Capitol.
Yeah.
They're so nice. All of them are so nice. And at night, there's no visual representation.
Sure.
Anything.
Yeah, we can
anyone-
put
I
some
mean, I
solar.
understand the cost of getting a line for,
Well, the
regular light. but
The one in Skylar will be powered up soon. Skylar will be
Well,
powered
and
up.
that worked out because there was another, project going on, but they're all so nice and at night, it's just, the.
I'll get Howie on it. The problem is we can't put it on the
I
ground.
don't know.
They'll figure out something to mount to it. Because if we put it on the ground, the lawn mowing guy, go for that. So, yeah, we'll figure that out. No problem.
We
Good,
can add-
good suggestion. Maybe able to put some solar in the roof of that and light it up. Okay. Great, thanks. That's a great
Not
idea.
that
So we're
one.
number 3.
Lots
guys.
to go on. Work. So the other week I sent out a constant contact email about, it's just all these pictures of Jen, but, all the awards we've given for the micro enterprise grant so far.
So that's why we've gotten more calls. Because of this potential. And she doesn't wear the same clothes every day.
I'm gonna start.
Keep them all.
We, don't have a picture of Giuliano's farms yet, because he wants to take one outside.
Who's in the other?
No, that's Susie Q, the
Oh.
Mohawk, yeah. this is
Yep,
she.
this is she. These are just, I made 2 presentations, one for NYSERDA when they came, and then one for the ESD when they came last week.
So we were fortunate enough to have the economic development team from NYSERDA here for a whole day, and we took them all around, including Remington. Had a great day with them. Really, they have some new grant programs out. And as a follow-up to their visit, they contacted Victoria and Jen on how to best administer their grants. So that was quite impressive that they asked them how to do that. So that went really well, and we feel as though we're in line to receive some of the first funding that they're doing. That's the indications we're getting. And then we have a roundtable meetings of all the DDOs in our region. So we hosted that meeting here last Wednesday, and our guest speaker was Christian Mercurio, who used to be with Edge, now he's with DSD, and he runs the Fast New York program. And soon he'll also be running the Power Up program. So it was good to have everybody here. We were supposed to last an hour. We ended up lasting almost 2 hours and 15 minutes. I mean, we had a great discussion, lots of talk. And
Okay,
Well, I don't know if we want to do this
Yeah.
now or
we can do it right now. Are you-
just the weaknesses that everyone said. So.
you can do it right now, right? You want to? Okay,
What, are we just reading through them?
Maybe just leave it up for a second and we can talk for a second.
Okay.
Is it okay?
yeah, I was just consider you all asked about our SWOT analysis report that we do each meeting on this week's, or this month's segment of weaknesses that everyone had a chance to chime in and there they are on the board. You want to go through them? Yeah.
But my thought was same way from the beginning, when we'll have this discussion that we'll take all 4 of them in. I've been talking to a couple of different consultants that can come in and go over a SWOT analysis with us and see what we can do to do some additional planning. But those are the ones, and to be honest, we received from Corey, Ann and Jimmy, mostly Corey, on the topics there. If anyone has anything they want to point out or discuss, but I'm okay with moving forward to the next step too. What is that picture behind it? Is that a church? Oh, that is Main Street. Wow, I couldn't tell from that angle. Very cool.
With the last one there, John, are we thinking additional meetings with the town?
I don't know. I mean, we meet with them a lot. I mean, Malt's here every meeting. Is there more meetings we should be having? I mean,
I would believe so.
we come
If
ask.
there is, we'll call for it. Doesn't happen too often.
So I'll expand upon that. I put it. I think you have new legislators and I think them being aware of what the IDA does is really important. And I don't really think that is the case.
Well, so
Even some of the existing.
They're all
ones, I
invited
think
to this,
it's-
they're all invited to this meeting today.
plus the new ones, I've sat
Believe
down
it.
individually and talked to them and asked them to come in and set something up too. So the 2 new ones right now are Kelly and Anthony. And I'll be honest with you, Anthony Lucenti is probably one of our biggest advocates because of the work that we've done in Skylar. However, he wants to do the same thing. The last time we were asked to go in there and speak to the new legislators, and Corey, I think Tim, you came that night too. And the ones that asked us to do it didn't show up.
Well, I'm not saying that they haven't been provided the opportunity. Mine says lack of their awareness of the IDA scope. Whether or not they have the opportunity or we provide them with it, it's still that not all of them understand even what a microenterprise grant is or what projects the IDA is working on and what it takes. So what I'm saying is that continued education needs to.
Keep them abreast, introduction, is that what you're looking for?
I guess you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. I mean,
Yeah.
when I was in, you know, because I wore 2 hats, I was, you know, when we have our caucuses or committee meetings, I would always try to let the group know what was going on. You know, I know there's Greg that goes and reports back, and then Mark, so your husband's on the calls a lot of the time, so, and it's a, you know, it's a part-time job. Being a legislator is a part-time job with full-time responsibility, and some are able to break free and some are, you know, based on whether they're working. And so, I mean, I think we've done a pretty decent job, and you're right, some people won't get it. Even if you explain it to them 10 times, they still don't understand what we do or our processes or what's involved. So, I
Is
don't
there an
know.
orientation process? where you look at the
Maybe
website?
There really isn't, but this is something, I think we should leave this on anytime we all get together anyways. It's a discussion. We do constantly send out emails to the entire ledge too. Micro Enterprise is a great example. How many times have we printed out the flyers and put them in their mailboxes over there? So I mean, we're in touch with them. I don't think they're lacking for anything, but I think that's what we'll sit down and have our discussion with, at the end of this process. So I think that's a good thing to leave up there, and maybe we schedule. I don't think, I'll be honest, I don't think they want to hear from me all the time.
I'm not sure what
Let's be
answer,
honest.
what would be your ideal, like a monthly report, something submitted by the IDA?
Well, you get our monthly report. I'm not really thinking there should be much more than that.
So when there's projects
Yeah.
or when the IDA has activity, my point is I do not think that most legislators truly understand. I don't know what you're reporting back on a, weekly, I know there's committee meetings,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean it's part of it, or a monthly basis, and oftentimes, to Corey's point, what's the onboarding look like for a new legislator? It's an election year, so it's regardless of that, I do not think that they're all really aware of what the IDA does.
Well, me and John, we've talked recently about him, and me getting together before one of our regular scheduled meetings, and John will give me a bullet point, a review of the last, several months of projects, something you can give me.
And we've done, but
And that's
look
something
at,
to-
And during the meeting, we call any, committee, chairman one.
And
but
that's
once
something
again,
new.
we're a public.
Oh, it's always been on it, but I'm just saying that's something new that I was thinking of doing with them.
But we're also just a public benefit corporation too. We get out there when we work with the ledge on different things. Same way like Cornell, how often do they do it? How often does the college do it? I mean, there can be some information overload for them. I contact a lot of them individually at different times as well. So I don't think there's a lack of communications. Is it more structured? Some things I don't think we should possibly hand out to them. There's been times when I get in front of them and say, look, this is executive session, please don't share. And several of them pick up a pen and start writing things down. And I say, no, you can't do that, because a lot of this, we can't really get out there. So we have to walk that line. But how many times have you been, Tim, to meetings and Corey that we did with the ledge? Over the past year alone, probably 4 or 5. So, I mean, we're constantly doing, but let's leave that up there. That's part of the weaknesses that's viewed by a board member, and that'll be part of the process.
And being a former legislator, it even happens at the legislature, where legislators don't know what certain
Yeah.
projects the county's doing, or what departments' responsibilities are. So, and we had a legislator 101 class, when we used to do that, and bring them in, and then there was a packet. And our packet pretty much is our website. I mean, if you go on our website, you could pull anything from our mission statement to forms and all those grants are on the website. So to direct them there and say, hey, study this. If they don't want to study it,
I think the best learning tool we've ever done with any of the ledges when they have a project in there. That always seems to work out the best. I just received a letter from the town of Webb that they need some help with infrastructure. So I called Don Hale. Don, do you know about this? I heard rumblings. I said, okay, by the way, I'm going away next week. Feel free to call me. But when I come back, we'll go up to Old Forge and we'll meet with their board, with the legislature. And usually when I go to different communities, right, Paul, I tell the legislator, come meet with me there. I'm gonna go there and we go through projects. So, but let's keep this on there. Let's move ahead. You guys should have to do the O's next. So please do it. And thank you for, doing it. And, Frank, I know you're new, so it's hard to think of those things. However, if from being on other boards and you think things that are opportunities for our area, and just don't think of it as the IDA, think of it as in general to the county, what would be some opportunities?
What about the one above? More strategic planning?
We haven't had a great strategic plan in place only because of the way that things have changed. So that will be part of the SWOT analysis when we move ahead. But, you know, I like the strategic plans. I'll give you an example. We did an agricultural, the land strategic plan that sits on the shelf now. That's about this protection plan that no one looks at. You know, we're stuck on all these strategic plans, but I'd rather have is like, well, and we'll talk about that with the consultant, some kind of calendar based or some kind of goal setting, more than just a plan, because we can say, well, we want to be known for X, Y, Z product in Herkimer County. Well, that might never happen, but why would we limit ourselves? And a lot of the strategic plans sit on the shelf. We want to be more interactive.
And this SWOT analysis was informed because of the conversation about strategic plans. One time, so it's just a working process. This whole plan is, and this is part of the process, so.
It's hard too because, and it's not hard, I shouldn't say it's hard, but there's a lot of moving parts in a small agency like this. And every day, and we'll go into another project in executive session. I mean, it's that type of movement.
What's our goal as far as timeline to get a strategic plan by the end of the year?
I don't think we do. Why don't we have the consultant work with us and tell us that? If we put us in a certain box, then we have to be in that box. Is that the right thing to do? I don't know.
Can I just ask about the one about transitioning some of your work to a secondary? I missed the meeting after like Elena's departure. Are we looking to fill that again or no?
I think we need to, definitely. Well, that and, you know, because I definitely want to move on at some
Yeah,
point.
I
And the thing is too, right now though, I mean, if somebody knows of somebody, I'm happy to talk to them. But right now with the big project out there internally, I actually pushed more on Victoria than I probably should have, but she's dispersing it too, just because it's taken up a ton of time. And we gotta make that work. So, but thank you, yes. And if somebody knows somebody, whoever, I'm happy to talk.
All right, let's move on. Aaron, you good?
Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay. So let's do the site due diligence. We need to verify that, Jen.
Yeah, so that's the agreement that we have with Neil from the electric consultant helping us with the Remington Arms power upgrades. So, boy, his name just flew out of my head. What was his last name? Collins, yeah, Neil Collins, sorry. CJ Collins, but it goes by Neil. I can't answer why. So he's the consultant that's been working with Alien from way back in the day. He understands their infrastructure. He works well with NIPA. Since they're municipal power, we have to work through the NIPA phase to get a direct line in. And NIPE, which is the municipal power granting agency that works with them on additional power. It's very kludgy, but it seems to work for 54 municipalities around the state. So you need someone not only to guide you, but to work on all the lines that are in there, all the power. So we need to continue on as him as a consultant. We're close to about 50K right now. Probably gonna need, well, I know we're gonna need additional funding till we submit the application to the ISO for them to tell us, yes, the power can be given here. Even though we have support from NIPA that says they guarantee us 200 megawatts of power. It's more the infrastructure to get it into the facility. Does that make sense? As a consultant, we need to hire to bring this. Yeah, it's 50 right now, but what did we talk about? Do you remember? I think what I'd rather do, if it's okay, is let's go with this 50 and then as it sends in more, we'll bring it back to the board.
Okay.
If that's okay with y'all. I don't want to give him too high of a number and put that out there. I'd rather review everything that he does and work with him on. I probably have conversations with him 3 times a week and that might be so much. They're a smaller facilitator for this. It's more NIPA than Power Authority. And the power for what the end project needs to be green power in order to get benefits to put one of these centers in there. There's so many layers. So green power is considered new and hydro. So that's what it'll be supplying. Power for this project.
And not to exceed
50 right now. Yeah. It's already been out.
Right, to continue on.
with it, yeah. And he's been good. I would tell you, but he's been thorough and he's worked well with, all the other consultants.
It's a professional service.
Yeah. It doesn't have to.
Any, comments, questions? All right, I need a motion to, bring that forward. For a session. Tim, thank you. Discussion. In favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Carried. All right, item 14 and 15, we get to, we have some elections here of the secretary.
Just a week ago. No, I'm only.
Okay, I was like, really?
That's what they do at the lecture.
Because of, Janice Carano, passing away, we need to fill his spot as secretary of the agency. And Alana has graciously, unless somebody else wants it, I think we could have a runoff here. But she has stepped forward and said she's interested in the position. So is there any objection? Alana? Looking for a runoff. All right, I need a motion for a guest. Okay, Frank, second by Corey. To make Alana our secretary. Any discussion? In favor, aye. Opposed, nay. Gary, congratulations. You get a little extra in your paycheck.
You know, you say that, people hear that.
I know, but there is, these are free, we do not pay for these, for chairman, vice chair, and secretary, and treasurer, so those are all done by board members, to be clear. All right, item 15, election of the RLF committee. And then that is Ann, Lana, and no, oh, I'm sorry, myself, and Cory. Yeah. Anyone else? Interested? All right, need a motion to, get those three. And Alana, second by Tim. Thank you, let's all. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried. All right, it's item 16, the USDA Rural Business Development Plan. Yeah,
So we applied for a grant with the US, VA Rural Development. It's a grant to help move the project along in Ilion. With Turin, I'm not really sure where we sit with rural development now. There's a $50,000 match, which they will provide. We're working on that agreement now. We have to pass a resolution to, support applying for that grant, so that's what we'd like to do. I don't think it has an early time frame, no. Make a long story short, rural development is under the microscope now because the current USDA person in charge didn't have success with them in Texas. So they're looking at it across the country. If it was more successful in Texas, we would be. That's what it is. But we want to apply for this, so we can get resolutions.
Type of, I know it's USDA, but what's the scope of the grant? And I know you said there's a 50,000 match. Is it a 50,000 grant?
No, it's a $100,000 grant. It's gonna be used towards electrical infrastructure and Turn would pay the other half of that. We're looking at all different types of grants just to add to the bottom of this project. And we're gonna talk more a little bit about something else to do with the grant executive session. Not the grant, but the project and executive session. But yeah, that's just another grant that's applying for as a need resolution.
The entire village is in the rural area.
So
I know sometimes.
the entire county is,
The whole county.
the whole county is, yeah.
There's not much area that USDA, and even so, they haven't beyond that radius that they can.
For us.
It's good for us and bad because our state director retired, but the new state director, Jenny Jones, she's really good. So, but they've really slowed that down.
Yeah.
So,
okay, I need a motion. Fine. Tim, second. Alana, discussion. All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried. Item 17, the impact analysis for Remington. That's with Des Moines Associates.
so that is with Des Moines. Where's that sheet that we made copies of yesterday? No?
This one?
Yeah, that one I would like everybody to have.
Now?
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
I thought we wanted it for executive session. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. So we voted on this online, we passed it through, so we just need to ratify the vote, but I want everyone to see, this is a condensed version of the study that they did that's like, I don't know, 20 pages, 30 pages long. This is the economic impact to the proposed data center in Ilion. It outlines what it would be. On the backside is a rendering of what it would look like. 9,500. Oh, this is and everything that we do when we talk about anything that can happen there and some of the other additional support services that I'll have to come. Other than some big numbers. Oh, just that Paramount, and you see that building in the background, and then you see a bunch of the show. Doesn't that, yeah, the studios, it does look like that. That's what I couldn't hit what it was. Des Moines does excellent work with this, so it's actually not. Oh, yeah, this is fine to get out there, of course. Yeah.
Okay, so for $9,500, so we're paying them for,
Yep.
your motion, please. It goes, Tim, second. I'll make the second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Any opposed, nay? 18, DNA roots.
This is very exciting. This is our first small application process that we've done. DNA Hoops, they're building a indoor basketball facility over in East Herkimer, near the East Herkimer School. David Voigt and Anthony Reddington, I don't know if anybody's familiar with those individuals. So what we're doing with this opportunity with them is giving them mortgage recording tax abatement and sales tax abatement. Property tax will, no abatement there, and, you know, it could be justified by, you know, it might change a little bit with what they're doing. I'm not sure what the town has in mind, but we are not abating.
That's not, is that?
No, it's a new building.
Yeah.
It's over next to Anato's Produce over there.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
right between Anato's Produce and, no, in the,
Other side.
Yeah.
Stump it.
Yeah, Stumpin'.
what's the guy's name who cuts the trees over there?
Matt.
Matt, there you go. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Mike.
Yeah, so Matt McCreen over there,
Yeah.
something by Mo. So, as you can see throughout the whole thing, it even shows in our, we also included our cost benefit analysis in here. That's 4-to-1 ratio. So we're looking to accept the application. And we need a vote on that. Does anyone have questions? It's a great project. It's our first, small project, so hopefully we see more like that.
Comments, questions? Want to make a motion to move that forward? Tim Day, second Corey, discussion. All in favor, aye? Any opposed, nay? And that carries. The inducement
Resolution.
for that project.
As we do with every other project to move ahead, Mr. Halleck has written this up for us. We just need to move ahead.
Any comments on that? Starts at 124. Which is typical. Your motion. Alana, thank you. Second, Tim. Thank you. Discussion. All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay? Carried. And we need to set a public hearing. I need a motion for that.
1 second, Victoria, did you set a date for that?
The
public hearing?
8th of April.
No, we're gonna have it here because it's in the, for the village.
The motion, 8th April. Alana, second. Corey, discussion. All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay? Carried. Item 19 ESV for the Remington site study. Yeah.
So we went to Empire State Development, through many of our outreach with this project. Met with Jeff Januszewski and the Empire State Development team down in Albany. They gave us, an opportunity for a $200,000 grant to, review, anything to do with the, process of the, reuse of the Remington Arms facility. We need to accept this, and also our part of the study would be $20,000.
Motion, Tim? Second? Discussion. All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Carried. Item 20, you have your financial disclosure package, which are required every year. Please fill those out, get those out to the staff ASAP.
Frank, did you ever fill one of those out before? It's really easy, just follow the rules, just make sure your numbers actually go in the small envelope, and then in the larger envelope is just an outline.
As far as reporting to that, we get on ABO and stuff, everybody can stop buying or no ABO.
I reach out to everyone individually as the community, so, as of right now, everything is okay, I'm working with Corey.
Can you get a certificate? We send you a certificate.
The ABO sends an email, and that's generally forwarded to me, or the ABO sometimes will that same satisfied requirements, I'll take it to the file.
Is it, Jimmy's asking for another reason, he sits on the land bank board, is that good for the land bank board as well, his training that he does here, is there anyone?
You do
can
have
reach
to do
out?
it for different entities, when you sign up, you have to put the Herkimer County MBA, I would expect you to have to do that for every.
It's not like the financial disclosure where it would cover all agencies. You're saying I have to take that separate.
I don't know, we'll find, yeah. That's another one that should be on yours is the land bank. The only reason why, can I make a suggestion? You should bring that to the county so they file it with everything. So they don't say, oh, Jim didn't file it with us.
And then on the land bank and also solve.
Yeah.
So I've seen my packet for all three of those things on it, so just for clarification.
Well, they give it to us. We don't, we don't tell them anything. Give it to us.
Okay. All right, we'll get those in as soon as you can. Bonding, item 21, sure.
Yeah, so I have Ed Russell on the, online here, and there's Ed right now. Ed's been, critical in helping us move this project forward with the county. The other night, we had a meeting, it seems like yesterday, but it was a couple weeks ago now. Holy cow. A couple weeks ago, we had a meeting at the county, then with a follow-up on Friday morning, right? Legislator Malta, passed, unanimously through the, Ways and Means Committee. And there was a straw poll taken that the entire, ledge board was in favor of moving ahead with the bonding. The bonding would actually, and Ed, I'm gonna have you outlay the process. So
Yeah, happy to.
why don't I just do that? Because it's better that everyone gets an understanding from you on the legal side on how we do things. And if there's a way to move this forward in a quicker motion, only to help support with the closing of the project. And then I also think too, that it might be good for you to talk to, and I talked to Chuck a little bit about this too, to get a better understanding on where they would sit with those brownfield cleanup credits too, and what the time frame is, so it all might flow together, because I know you guys are working on that side of it as well.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, everyone. This is I'm Ed Russell. I'm an attorney with Hodgson and their public finance group. Thanks for allowing me to speak today at the meeting. Nice to meet you all. Yeah, so a little background. This is a unique project, and there was some interest to have the county invest in this project. And the way to do it is to have the IDA issue IDA bonds. The county, in this context, will be the purchaser of those bonds. So the money would flow into the IDA from the county through those bonds. And then in turn, the funds would get over to the developer for the Remington Arms facility through a traditional straight lease transaction. So there would be a lease and a lease back, and those funds would flow through the lease back transaction. And so this way we have the benefit of having county be able to support the project, the IDA to be able to support the project and be able to redevelop that facility to get jobs at that site. Part of the process, though, just to get into the weeds a little bit, is that the county needs to amend their policy to allow for investments in IDA bonds. And so I've been in contact with the county attorney regarding that. They're working towards doing that amendment. And they also reached out to the controller just to confirm that that was allowable, and it is. So there's no issue there. And as far as the process to get this moving, and so we can move forward quickly and efficiently to get this, get this project moving, I have a call today with the applicant, the developer, to discuss the application, which should be submitted shortly. And once the application is submitted, we can move forward with scheduling a public hearing. And after the public hearing, we can move to approving the bond approval process. With that, though, the county will need to do their process as far as getting the resolution approved to amend their investment policy, and then they'll also need to approve purchasing the bonds. So we'll have both boards working concurrently, and hopefully we can do it in a timely fashion to be able to get the applicant the funds so they can start the process for development.
Where do we have to hold the public hearing?
The public hearing needs to be at the affected taxing jurisdiction location closest, so the town, usually we hold it, but we can hold it right at the facility if you like.
No, I'm just wondering if we could have held it here, do we go to Ilion or the town, the village, the closest one, so we'll ask the village.
Yep, usually in like the village hall or something like that, we can do it. So that's where the public hearing would do. And Shannon's online too from Hodgson, and she'd help prepare to put together all the documentation for this transaction, since you're familiar with Shannon's work here. So. And then Chuck and I, unfortunately, we didn't connect, so I don't have an update on the brownfields tax credit side of it, unfortunately. So I didn't get John. I don't know if you want to add anything on the brownfield side of it. So
I just know that all of the we've done all the due diligence except for the drilling that I think is starting next week or the week after. There was some lag in there for some reason, and then they'll know the contamination of inside the buildings as well. We had a meeting with DEC, and we know they're really pushing to get it put into that group, which no one sees a problem doing that. It's just the process of when they'll have that done to start really looking at the deconstruction of the site and what buildings and everything.
okay.
Okay. So did you have the meeting with their consultant yet on the application or not yet?
No, we're talking today at noon. So.
Do they not have an attorney?
Yeah, they have several attorneys.
So I'm sorry, can I just, who does Ed?
Yes.
Us.
He's contacting the developer directly?
Oh, yeah, well, he's contacting he has a meeting this afternoon with the developers grant and application.
Okay, usually it's attorney to attorney, even though, I was just curious if they haven't.
Oh, good. So
they present them in different cases too, like for the brownfield stuff and other things. There's several different attorneys across the board. So, but for stuff, a lot of times it doesn't have to be attorney to attorney, like
I'm just curious if they have an attorney.
Oh yeah, they, and also
Great. So I
Kristen
wasn't
is
there,
an
so-
attorney. Kristen O'Neill, the owner of the company, she's an attorney.
Sorry, Ed.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm happy to, generally with the application process, before the application is submitted, they'll sometimes just ask me myself questions, or they'll ask John questions directly. And sometimes actually the applicant's counsel will directly call John and talk about things, and that's perfectly fine. It's just once we get into the weeds of negotiating the documents, that's where really it should be between attorney and attorney. And that's kind of where the ethical line is when we're negotiating the deal documents themselves. But in this early, kind of pre process, it's perfectly fine. And the applicant has not reached out to their attorney or copied their attorney on anything so far. So until that happens, I'll be directly corresponding with the developer. So.
That makes sense. And I was not at that meeting. I did gather some information. It's, if I understand it correctly, it's 2.5 million.
Yeah, 2.477.
Mm-hmm.
2.5, go around.
Oh, we're not allowed to say 2.5. I asked for that. I got yelled at.
I think most were there. I wasn't, I don't know if you were. So What's the, just, I guess for my benefit, what's the overall structure of the bonds?
Oh, what the IDA does is they issue and they're called they're called conduit bonds. So unlike when a municipality issues bonds, they flow through from the IDA to the developer. So all of the money comes to the IDA, but the IDA immediately turns it around to the developer. The developer then in turn uses those funds for development of the project. They're appointed as agent for the IDA, so they do all the work. So it's an IDA project, but all the work and really all the liability and all the risk is on the developer for the project. And we're simply a conduit between the county and the developer. The money flows through us. The project is our project, but at the end of the day, all of the liability and everything flows through to the developer.
And the repayment of that?
And the repayment is their lease payments under the lease agreement that would flow to the IDA, which would then flow over to the county through the bonds.
Want to know amounts and stuff like that, so it's actually $2.469791 million. The first year is interest only, and then the rest of it's paid at 5.87% over the 9 years. It's a 10-year project.
The interest, so is the interest being funded by the actual loan?
No,
Similar to a construction loan?
no.
So the sources and uses don't include the 12 months of interest?
Um, So what their uses are in so they're taking out the debt of 2.469. Their total debt they feel for the 2 year or for the initial will be 2.744. Did I not give you? I'll give you a copy. I'll send this. You can just have this one.
Or just, I'm not sure if the whole board got that or.
I can't remember. I'm sorry, but yeah, we'll send it out. Yeah.
John, I would just note that this is all preliminary because we haven't got the actual application in hand. So, everything we're talking about right now is kind of what they hope for or what they've been requesting. But until they submit the application, we're not 100% sure what they're, it's not been solidified. And once we have the application, I think we'll have a better understanding of what they ask.
Sometimes, the only reason why I ask is because some projects, the loan amount funds the interest for during the development period. So I guess not knowing the components of
Oh,
it.
that's a good question.
So I guess we'll know more.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, not too much further down the road.
No.
We should be able to get everything out to everybody. That's that meeting today.
we
We
can't
talked,
even come prior to that, right?
oh, definitely.
So,
But I thought it would be good that everybody got a chance to talk with Ed. We see the way that the process works, which we've been really talking about. You look at what the end game appears to be and everything looks to be good for that. So we haven't really hit any, and I don't want to say it, major hiccups yet. So neither have they, which is great. So
remember last time we talked, they were going to provide financials. Did they yet?
that'll be part of what their due diligence will be with the application and with our attorneys, just like what
And
Tony
due
does.
diligence.
Yeah. Yeah, they both do their due diligence on it for us. They do everything. Do them operation. Searching out, just like when we do other projects. So, and that's where they provide us with the method that says yes to these other.
I would just add also in a bonding process where you have the purchaser, and typically you have like a bank purchasing the bonds here in the county, in those bank deals, the bank will usually request a due diligence, will have submitted due diligence checklist to the developer asking for all sorts of information, including financial information. And I know the county is retaining special counsel for this, for them as will act as purchaser counsel. So I'm sure that they will provide a checklist that the developer will have to provide, and everyone will see that, including all the IDA and the IDA board members. So.
On Sheddick and King.
Okay, any other comments?
So are we the conduit because of our project?
Well, so it's hard, the county, I guess I don't know the exact answer for this. She just asked if we were the conduit for this, because it's our project. Is there any other agency or any way they couldn't go to the county directly? Because the county can't do that directly, so.
Correct.
Really the only way that this can be done.
The county.
Well, they can bond, but not for municipal projects, not for individual.
Correct. That's why the IDAs were really created to assist with economic development, because counties were really constricted in what things they could invest in and finance projects on. So, yep.
We're not the first ones to do this, though I
No.
want to get my name out there to be the first, but we're not the first, so that's another thing. So,
Okay, any other comments, questions? Your motion to move this.
hold on one sec. Ed, do you have anything else?
No, not at this point. Hopefully I'll have some more information later today for you, John.
Great, and I'll share with everybody too. A lot of the stuff coming forward to a certain point will be confidential, and I'll mark that on the email. As I said. Okay, thank you.
Yep, thanks. Nice meeting everyone.
What are we voting on if we don't have?
Just to move ahead with it, that we're all in favor of going through the process with him. We just want to keep this moving, that if he says, well, did your board approve the fact that we're moving ahead? We're working with Hodgkin Russ to make the bonds work. It's just something in general in case we need it for something else. Just want to make sure that we're all safe. Support would be a good phrase for it. Oh, we won't make any final decision until we hear back from them, for sure.
Yes. Tim's made the motion, second. Corey, discussion. In favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried.
Thanks, Ed.
Ed, thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good week. CPR water.
We're pulling that off right now. We won't get the final data.
Okay. 324, our final item on the regular agenda is Manheim Business Park termination letter. That project is not gonna happen. Nope. So we need a letter to a signed letter from the developer saying that everything's gonna go the wrong way, and we want to say.
Well, no, yeah. So this allows us to market the site again. And that was the key to it too. Don't have enough animals. That was the last we've had a conversation with them. We had to terminate the agreement, which we did at the advice of council, and now we can start to market the property. I think we need to just vote on it to accept the termination. We can't take it because we didn't meet two of the conditions. Yeah. We could have.
It's a lot of time that you put into that, so I didn't know if maybe.
Well, it was if we would have separated out the property, if we would have taken for the water transmission or the water tank, the tower, whatever, and separated that out. And there was one other thing we needed to do that we didn't do because we didn't have them as clients for sure. So it would have cost us more to do that. And the other thing is that, well, maybe we would have got that 30 or 40,000. But that being an LLC, we really couldn't go after much more from it too. So the weighed out to do it this way.
John, moving forward with the marketing, are you thinking something similar to this opportunity that they're gonna move forward, or you want to start from scratch, or just kind of see who's what are you thinking for the property, I guess?
It's not far from Saratoga. I'm thinking supply chain something. However, too, I did have a meeting and were you at that meeting too?
Which one?
Hearing at the college?
No.
So I talked with them. They're looking to expand. We've met with some other companies that are looking to expand. It's convenient for Gearing. It has sewer. It has water too, but now with the tank, it'll have additional water support.
You're back in the beginning, open for business or whatever.
Yeah, we want to get it out there and market it too. One of our other developers has a slight interest in it, wanted to make sure that we got back control of it too.
No.
Motion is made in second. All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay? Carried. Okay, let's do comments by elected officials. Greg, you're the only one.
Yeah, I got, just go back to, again, your concerns on that, swap that we talked. If there's something you want to send towards the, said, I'm chairman for the county development planning and there's some stuff I hear and here that I haven't heard officially, bits and pieces, so it doesn't matter. I
Yeah,
field a lot of chairmanships and with 17 of us and an administrator. The main goal is, at the end of the day, sometime or another, we're all gonna be on the same page. If there is something you might throw an email to me.
Yeah.
The Remington Arms project, 2 I won't say 5. My administrator, goes, man, 2.4, whatever those numbers go up. As a county, we're taking a aggressive, proactive, and we're looking out for the future of our county, and our legislator is, ways and means is in support of it. And, it looks like I won't say for the whole legislature, but a strong type vote. It looked like everybody's in favor of it. And, we did hire one of the best bond council, class A, outfits. I don't know if you recognize the name went down to the. I forgot the name already.
Bunch.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, they're
So,
high caliber.
so we're excited. We're trying to keep a positive approach for the people in the town, that we're not just sitting here. The IDA's active and things also legislature, so. Hopefully we see sunlight down the tunnel here. That's all.
All right, let's go to project updates. Dan.
Okay, so next month, we're gonna do our yearly anti-harassment training at the meeting. Yep. Also, we're hoping to get a summer intern this year as well. We have a bunch of projects for them. Talking to a couple people, however, if somebody knows somebody in college, studying marketing, business planning, anything along those lines, we're happy to talk to them. Our EDC annual meeting is May 21st through the 23rd in Cooperstown. The first day, the 21st, I would highly recommend if you can come in that day and you want to sign up, let us know. There's some good sessions, we believe. Also, not for nothing, you can have a cocktail. Let's just put it out there, that's fine. Economic Development Summit in the fall. I met with Cornell, I met with the college, the chamber. We're gonna do like a 9 to 11:30 type thing. We'll talk about economic development in our county. We never did that before. We think it's a good way to let people know. I can't remember why we put housing study down, other than it was complete and we had the meeting. If anybody wants a copy of it, they can get it through our website, or we can print out a copy for you there. Another conference I'll be attending in May before that is the BEST conference. It's on battery energy storage technology. That's a good conference in the Albany area too, considering we're looking at a lot of different technologies there. And there's also a big growth demand for all different types of batteries in the state. Our Brownfield conference, 28th, 29th, and 30th of April. Please, on the 29th, if you can make during the day, that's great. If you have trouble registering, just contact Aaron in our office. That night, we're at Bates for a great networking event. Please come to that. It's very important. The conference will be great. We have a lot of guest speakers. We have our new regional administrator coming in. Just a whole host of good speakers for that. Next week, I'm out on vacation all week, but if you need me, you can still call my cell or try and text me or email me. That's fine. Yeah, Jimmy's going to. We had to bring him this time. Florida. We had. We do need to go in executive session and go over 2 things, if that's okay.
Vice Council.
Yeah, Tony's on and I want to talk to Tony too about something. Shannon can stay on, so 2 different things.
Anything else? Good to the organization? The motion to go to executive session by Garrett, thank you. There's Alana and Clay. Alana, thank
You're gonna hop on your little.
Yeah.
Come out of executive.
Okay, need a motion to come out of executive session. Alana, thank you. Frank? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, nay. We got our executive session. I need a motion to adjourn our regular session. Same 2. Alana, Frank, thank you. All in favor, aye. Opposed, nay. We are out of, our meeting.